President Chavez is better at positioning the cameras. And in all these conversations, here's what I emphasized, that we're not going to agree on every issue, but that as long as we are respectful of democratic processes, as long as we're respectful of principles of sovereignty for all nations, that we can find areas where we can work in common.
Por todos lados ven extremistas los imperialistas.
The imperialists see
es que somos extremistas.
extremists everywhere. It's not that we are extremists. It's that the world is waking up.
Insurgimos los pueblos.
It's waking up all over, and people are standing up. I have the feeling, dear world dictator, that you are going to live the rest of your days as a nightmare.
Blue Monday, how I hate Blue Monday. Got to work like a slave all day. Here come Tuesday.
So the man who sat in Reverend Wright's church for 20 years, the child of mixed parentage from Hawaii who was cultivated by the far left as their Manchurian candidate darling, goes and does a hand bump with the dictator Chavez, and now he realizes he's in trouble with people who actually know what's going on, and he tries to backtrack and double talk about mutual respect. How can you have mutual respect for a man who is a dictator is what I'd like to know. How is that possible? No, he's signaling to the world that the knot is tightening. The knot that was started in South America and Cuba, the knot is tightening. Now, this is a man who met with Ahmadinejad, who's been supplying, we don't know what, to Venezuela. This is a man who has deep ties with the Iranian revolutionaries, the jihadists. This is the man who Obama goes and does a hand bump with. He takes a book from him which excoriates the United States of America and its values, turns history on its hind legs. What do you think about Obama's encounter with Chavez? It certainly damaged U.S. foreign policy. There's no question in my mind. Any fair-minded individual who understands foreign policy knows this. To be photographed accepting an America-bashing book from the Venezuelan dictator, the photographs went around the world showing our college professor, president, hobnobbing with Chavez, shaking his hand, his finger pointing to the book, smiling with the Venezuelan dictator, the man who would be the new Simon Bolivar of all of South America. So as we see a dictator of South America, Chavez, meeting with a dictator, the would-be dictator of North America, we understand what's happening. It's a warm handshake, a slap on the back, which Chavez will send around the world as an endorsement of his dictatorial policies. Do you think Obama intended for this to occur? That's the way it's being portrayed in Venezuela, but in the rest of the continent and all of Latin America, is his endorsement of Chavez's dictatorship. Do you think Obama intended for the world to see this endorsement, or was this an accident? Was Obama put in an embarrassing position by accident, or did he do so on purpose to send a signal that he actually approves of this? He certainly has done enough in the last few weeks to have you ask these questions. How is it possible that this man who is forfeiting the United States to despots around the world in less than 80 days is getting away with it? How is it that this narcissistic, megalomaniacal egomaniac with his cult personality, walking around the world stage as though he's already solved America's problems, which he has not solved, now he's on to solving the world's problems? It's all about him, not about the American people? Now, some could say that this is a man who is acting like Chamberlain. I'm not so sure he's like Chamberlain. I'm not so sure that he's that naive. That's what bothers me. If I could say to myself he's really like Chamberlain, who went to see Hitler and came back and said Hitler said he's not going to invade any other countries, and he was seen to be for what he was, I wouldn't feel as disturbed as I am right now. It's pretty apparent to me that Obama hates America and the history of this country. It is apparent to me that he harbors a deep grudge towards America. It seems to me that he has many leftist friends around the world, certainly more than any president in the history of our nation. It seems to me he cannot wait to cozy up to those who criticize America, whether it be in the Middle East or in South America. It seems to me he enjoys the celebrity status of cozying up to dictators, particularly dictators who hate America. It's amazing to me when his mouthpieces try to downplay what he says and what he does. Is the old story, as I told you, the woman comes home and finds her husband in bed with another woman, and she says, "What are you doing?" And he looks at her while he's on top of the other woman and says, "Who are you going to believe, me or your own eyes?" Obama is raping America. Obama is raping our values. Obama is raping our democracy. And he is saying to you, who are you going to believe? Me, with this sonorous Kenyan voice? The con man in front of your eyes? Who are you going to believe, me or your own eyes? It's amazing to me that he goes around apologizing to every two-bit dictator in the world, Castro, Chavez, King of Saudi Arabia. And as I say, something is wrong with this picture. Gitmo, North Korea, Venezuela, Saudi Arabia, very soon Iran and Pakistan. Where does it end? It's all about him and his cult personality. I believe he's done more harm to the future of the United States in 80 days than any past sequence of presidents. And that is because it's been a perfect storm of a complicit media, a defunct Republican Party, and an ignorant populace. And that's why I say I'll open it up to you now, the people, so that you can vent right here on the Savage Nation. The minute I return, be here or be nowhere.
Savage.